Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 14 of this playthrough of The Witness. In yesterday's episode, or in the previous episode rather, we went to this swampy area with the colored water that we have over here because of the flowers, and we found the explanation for how the Tetris mechanic works. So, for example, shapes like we have here in yellow look on the board like this. They can be either at an angle or straight, and we fit those together in our grid. Now, in the end of the last episode, we opened up this staircase. So we activated these panels over here, and they turned on a pump over here, and the pump pumped out all the water that was underground, so we can now go down this staircase. And there's 3 of these, if I remember correctly. Further on here, there's one over here with the red pole, and then in the back there you see this cyan pole. That's another one of those staircases. So I want to have a look at those, the underground area that we have over here. Immediately a change in the sound. We have like echo or echoing sounds all around us. And we have now a new mechanic. And the new mechanic, or the new extra rule, is that we can do something with this little square in combination with these Tetris pieces. So first thing we would think, if we just ignore this blue square for a second, is that this would be the solution. You have 3 pieces stacked on top of each other, and we enclose this piece in our path and the edge of the board. But this is incorrect. Let's try something else then. This is correct. This here is incorrect. This is incorrect. Let's see, does this work? No. How about this? This does also work. So what this teaches us now is that if we have a Tetris piece and we have a shape like this with one square, that you now do the Tetris shape minus this shape. So we leave out one block that we have here in our enclosed shape. So it's kind of like the error correction that we had before. Let me show you here. So previously in the quarry, we came across this symbol, the 3-pointed star. That was kind of like an error correction that told us that you can make one mistake in the puzzle, or you have to have one mistake in the puzzle that is corrected by this symbol. And now this blue square kind of does the same for us. It tells us out of a full pattern of the yellow squares, can be one or can be combined, you subtract one blue square in this case. So let's apply that to the next panel. We now have a 4 piece, and from that 4 piece we subtract not just 1 but 2 squares that are stacked on top of each other. So how would we do that? We could do it like this. So I clip off the top 2. I subtract those from the 4 high tower. So normally you would have this, but I clip off 2 and end up with this. Okay, here we have 1 square, and we can test out if it matters where that square ends up in our pattern. So this would be a solution. We cut off the top left square, or we could cut off the top right square. Could we clip off the bottom right square? No, we couldn't, because then this symbol is not enclosed in the same area as our 2x2 Tetris piece. So it negates 1 block, but you do have to have them combined within 1 area. So also this would be a solution. So there's these 2 squares that you could cut off in this case. Okay, we now have a board with 4 2x2 pieces. So those would fit the whole board. And out of that whole board, I now need to cut 2 adjacent squares next to each other, left, right. So which ones could we cut out? Could be this one. That's a solution. But it could also be one above, or one even above that. Or we could do the same on the right side. So you can see that this one has multiple solutions. Then here, this spans the whole edge of the board, but in the middle, that has to be a separate area. So we have to subtract 1 block out of this edge so that we can cut out that square in the middle. So let me, for example, use this little square here that I encircle to cut out a piece. I go around, I've now cut out the square, and I go to the top. But again, this one has so many solutions that you can do. You could also have cut out this square, all these 2, these 2, these 2. Any of those 8 would have worked as a solution. So we now have multiple solutions in this case for pretty much every panel from this third one on. Now let's have a look outside of the windows here, if we can see anything special. Not really. It looks like we are looking underwater at what is over there. Let's also check here if there's any environment puzzles, but I don't necessarily see anything of note. No circles, no end points. Looking in, perhaps. No, not really. Okay, and then just to orient myself, I think what we were looking at, you can see down here, that's the room that we were in, the bunker, or the concrete room that was under water. And then I think what we were looking at was this grid of this corner piece. So perhaps there is something, but you have to turn this thing in another direction. So let me try that out, just out of curiosity. So if I remember correctly, this thing turns 90 or turns counterclockwise from the previous episode. And I also notice now that this staircase is down. So I think that's our next place to go. So there were not just 3 staircases, but 4. Could be logical since we have 4 areas here. And then something I was also wondering about. Before I go down there, is that we were trying to solve a few of these puzzles, these circles that are in the sand or on the floor of this pond, and we couldn't solve two of them because this panel was in the way. So I'm gonna try. And see how I can solve this. So I think this one will now turn so that it's vertical. And the one on the left will now turn so that it's horizontal. Quite a beautiful area here as well. Very chaotic, but at the same time quite beautiful. It has nature's chaos almost, with these willow trees. Then the color of the flowers. Oh, wait, what? Oh, I can go here. Okay, okay. I thought I was stuck for a second there. So let's see. I believe we were standing here. Oh. I need both of them to be out of the way. Huh. Hang on, let me try this out first. I think this is one we didn't have yet. This one we did have. So there is just this left. So this one that goes around. So I think it's kind of a timing puzzle since these move really slow. I think before this one closes in, I could complete that circle if they're moving. So let me try that out. I was trying to control the panel from up there, but I couldn't. So how would that look? I think like this. This one we cut off. Okay, then quickly jump off on this side. And I hope this one doesn't clip in too quickly. Might be close. Perhaps it's meant to be done from the other direction, turning. Might get there, but it's gonna be close. Yeah, okay, I got it. So was there more? think it's this one, and this one. Don't really see any more. And where did the lights go, by the way? Okay, damn, I wasn't paying attention where the obelisk is. Now to get back there, let's see. Oh, further up. Wasn't there a little cove area here? Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll get there. Oh, it seems like this pump has also activated. So this one is free. This one is not free yet. And then I'll go to the other side here first, to the yellow underground area, or where the purple block is at least, but I mean where the yellow cable ran down there. And also the pole has a yellow sign. Okay, here we are. So immediately we see a few things that stick out. These look like environment puzzles, but we don't have the right color at the end. So the orange here is too dark, so it's too dark orange and not yellow. So perhaps a different perspective. That's closer. Okay. So let's quickly have a look. Where did they go? There in the mountains. Okay. I think I know where that obelisk is. We've been there before. There's one next to the river. Okay, so we see that a cage there has broken off. And the cage is the one that we have over here for the red entrance. So we could not go to the red entrance before, or at least with this corner piece, because this has fallen and broken off into the water. And I think that's what we see underwater here, is that cage that has broken. Okay, then here we try to match the orange. And again, I think we can do that there. Oh, no. Okay, need to take some distance so I don't focus on the panel. So what I'm looking at is where this little edge matches. So about there is the same color. Then we also have these pipes in the water out there. Now, I'm not sure if they are part of a puzzle or not. But let's try solve this one first. Okay, this is another large puzzle. So we have 5 wide, 6 high. Now I do have to take into account that all of these are fixed position. So what I mean is they're not angled, not diagonal, so they have to be in this orientation. Okay, so what if I just put them where they are? Then this would be open. I could shove that one in there, but then that would mean that this whole row is already taken and there's no more space for a 4 piece. So I could perhaps shove that one on the right. Okay, so perhaps this is a good spot to draw. Yeah, let's take red. Or perhaps let's take orange. Oh, wow. So I'm trying to just draw the shapes, how they could fit in here. This one, and then here, this is the only one that has to shift over like this. So I think I can get them all by just cutting off these two corners. So this one here. So it's just this corner and this corner that I cut off. Okay. So it's kind of a way for me to do pen and paper way. It's the first time I had to do it like this. But then you can also see it if I make notes like that. Okay, and then one last thing that I saw is that there's an audio recording. So while I go to the next staircase, let's listen.
A poet once said, "The whole universe is in a glass of wine." We will probably never know in what sense he meant that, for poets do not write to be understood. But it is true that if we look at a glass of wine closely enough, we see the entire universe. There are the things of physics, the twisting liquid which evaporates depending on the wind and weather, the reflections in the glass, and our imagination adds the atoms. The glass is a distillation of the Earth's rocks, and in its composition we see the secrets of the universe's age and the evolution of stars. What strange array of chemicals are in the wine? How did they come to be? There are the ferments, the enzymes, the substrates, and the products. There in wine is found the great generalization. All life is fermentation. Nobody can discover the chemistry of wine without discovering, as did Louis Pasteur, the cause of much disease. How vivid is the claret, pressing its existence into the consciousness that watches it. If our small minds, for some convenience, divide this glass of wine, this universe, into parts, physics, biology, geology, astronomy, psychology, and so on, remember that nature does not know it. So let us put it all back together, not forgetting ultimately what it is for. Let it give us one more final pleasure. Drink it and forget it all. Richard Feynman, 1963.
Famous physicist Richard Feynman, I think Nobel Prize winner as well. And he is great at explaining physics and also enjoying the joys of life, apparently. There's not really anything that matches this type of pink. Perhaps it's how the sun hits that red surface, because the red surface is what is this, what's underneath this bridge. Perhaps if it shifts further away, it will go a bit more to the orange side because it's going, or the light is refracting through this cyan colored water. So I think we move the block farther away, and we can also do that from here. So you'll see that this is the exact same panel that we also have on the bridge over here. So you see that it's oriented exactly the same, vertical block there, one sticking out and another vertical block. And if I go down the staircase over here and look to this red panel, you'll see that we have that exact same shape. So I think I can move the bridge over from this way, and that it will now shift in color while it's moving away. Yeah, see there it's getting closer, and there we have it. All right, cool. Okay, a few more panels, this time again with the blue subtraction square. So we need horizontal 4 and vertical 4. So without this blue block, that would be impossible, because you could not have one block being 4 high and then have another next to it that's 4 wide. That would go out of the panel. But now we can cut a little piece out of the horizontal part, for example, like cut the second one out and place this bar here so that this one is open, and then I can place the 4-parter in the middle there. Or you could also see it as we put this one horizontal at the top and cut this top square off, so we have a 3-part in the middle. So I think my solution looks like this. Okay, I think I place this one here, and I place this one here, and in that case they overlap by 1. But I can also subtract 1 square for it, so that they don't overlap, kind of like we did over here. But now there is a second blue square, so somewhere I have to cut off another square, and I think the one I will cut off is the one on the left here, so that it looks like this. So for example, I've taken this one and I've cut the bottom off so that that one is here, and I've taken this horizontal bar and I've cut the leftmost square off so that that one is there. So when I'm wiggling my mouse like this, it's just to experiment where what could go. So I think this 4 parter could go here. Ah, okay. I see perhaps some difficulty with that. Although no, I think I have it. I think what I cut off is the leftmost square of this horizontal bar and place that one here, so that I have 3 next to each other. And then I place this one like this, so that it covers all of the symbols. And then I can go like this. And that should be it. So this part is this piece, and then the 4 piece is here with the leftmost square cut off. Okay. Okay, this one is a bit more tricky. So I'm trying to think how I could reach this part. Could perhaps have that part over there, this one here, but then this wouldn't fit anywhere anymore. So I think this part has to hit this. So perhaps like this, to get this one included as well. But then where do the other ones go? So the reason why this one is a bit tricky is that here it's obvious that the blue square you can cut from one of the shapes. Here we have 2 blue squares, you can cut them from one each if you want. But now I have something that I have to cut from shapes that don't include this shape of 4. So I now have to cut pieces off of 2 separate of these symbols. And that's what makes me stop here and think how they could work, how they could fit together. Because then you would want 4 squares less in a way that they are shaped together. Okay, I'll go back to the screenshot. so that I can draw on it. Okay. So perhaps I'm making it too difficult on myself. Let's assume that I would put this piece on the left side, this piece on the right side, so that the edges are touching each other. Let me draw that, just a small version on top here. So one like this, and then one like this. Oh, bloody hell. Okay, the drawing thing here is not ideal. Okay, undo. So these are close together, and what I want to cut off now is this part in the middle. Like that's a 2 by 2 square like we have over here, and that would mean that what is left over is 2 blocks on the left, 2 blocks on the right, and I think I can just mash those two together, I hope, so that I have a 4 horizontal piece. So let's try that out, so that it's just this. Okay, so that's pretty important information as well. So what I was assuming previously is that if you cut a piece out, then the hole that you leave stays in the same place, and all the other blocks in that piece keep the same width, so to speak. Now here we cut off a few end points, so the shape does become smaller. But the reason why this one puzzled me was that I thought that if I put them together like I did in my sketch there, that it would leave this hole, this 2 by 2 hole in the middle eventually. But you can mash them closer together afterwards. Okay, and then here we have like a chessboard or a checkerboard pattern. And we cut 2 pieces out. Okay, so what if I cut this piece out of the middle and I place this one over here? Then that would mean that this... Aha, I see. I was gonna say I go here then, but I think the second, because there is a second that you have to cut out, will be this corner piece, because I cannot take that corner because it would touch the same shape here. So I think I have to cut the corner off, go like this, and that should be the solution. So the ones I've cut out are this piece, so second row, second column, and the one in the corner, and then place this one on the second row and down. All right. Looks like that's all of these. And now I believe we have a second cable that has activated. That should go here. Let me first have a look around the room. Oh, and what's underwater? A crocodile or an alligator. And we have 4 panels, and all 4 of them are active at the same time. So perhaps this is kind of like the final test. Okay, so I think this means you need to enclose this, but at the same time cut that same piece out. So this would be a solution, and I think this one as well. Yeah. Okay, same here. Can go like that or like that. Okay, now this one is a bit trickier because we do have to include all of the symbols in our final pattern. So for example, if I want to cut a piece out of this, that means that I have to include or cut this whole piece away, rather. I need to include these two or these two in the same section that I close off. That one is tricky now because although I think we just cut this whole 2x2 grid away, and I just enclose this one. So I just enclose this one. This whole thing gets negated by the blue square. So we have 4 in total. Same deal here. Aha. So it is the same deal, but we cannot just go along the edge and take the whole board out like we did here. We need to find another way, because the same goes if you go to the bottom. That doesn't work. Now I think I see a solution to the problem. So we want this one and, for example, this one to be in one area. So we could do that like this. And that means that I now have a 2x2 grid that I can cut out, which is this one. And then if we combine this and this, that cuts out this piece. So, okay, so these puzzles were all about clipping the whole thing out of the board. We end up here. And I seem to remember that this one was quite a tricky puzzle, since now we're looking at a 3D object with these cages that you see over here that you can move up or down. And we're trying to get to our laser over there, so we need to get to this bridge that we see here. Okay, let's have a look. So we have this panel is the whole of the grid, and we can cut out a 2 piece in a line, and it is a little bit angled, so that means that we can cut it out like this, but we could also cut it out like this. Okay, so where is a place that I would like to go? Perhaps let's first see what the angle on this thing is. So if I do this, these two yellow squares drop down. So it's angled like this. The top left square would be the top, the leftmost one here that we're standing on. Okay, let's see then, can we cut off one that we are standing on, in which case we drop down. But we're just back where we started. How about I cut this one out? But then I'm stuck in the middle. This is where I eventually want to go. But I think I need to get myself from the top to the bottom somehow. Then while I'm here, I think I cut through so that one behind me opens up. And then I can open that same path up from the other side. But now I am standing on the middle one of the 3x3 grid. And then this panel is the same as the one over there. Only now it's mirrored, so I have to turn everything. And then from here, I think I can get out by doing this. Yeah, okay. Looks like we're home free to the laser. So the thing on the back has started turning. So aiming through the trees. And all the way to the mountain. Nice, okay. We got our laser completed. Now let's see, can we get out of here? Or do I have to go back through that puzzle box? It seems like I have to go back. Or no, wait. There's a path here. Oh, right. We've been on the other side here. That's the little cove with a waterfall, and the door was locked from this side. So let's have a look what we can do. So turn it like this, and then more or less the same. We have the whole grid that is covered. We cut that part out, so we could do that like this. Place it in the corner below. Right, that now gives us a way out. And I believe we have right now solved this whole swamp area that we see over here. Perhaps there's environmental puzzles left, but I'd have to go look at the obelisk to be sure. But I think all the panel puzzles are completed now. And I believe that obelisk is this way, so let's have a quick look there. It's either here or on the other side of the waterfall, or of the water, I mean. Here it is. Okay. It seems like there's plenty more. I think these three are the ones that we did in the purple sand underwater. The wavy pattern. But there's still quite a lot that way. And then these, let me see if I can remember. I think these are the ones that we did in the underground rooms with the colored pipes. There was this one in the, I believe this and this was in the yellow room, and I think this one was in the cyan room. Where we had to move that bridge piece to the back. But apparently there's still a few more to find that way. So I think in the swamp area there's a lot more to be found. But I'll do that in another episode. I'm going to end the episode here. We've completed all the panels in the swamp area. So let's do something else in the next episode. I think I'll try to do some environment puzzles in the next episode, because it's been a while since we found a good few of those. So thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in a next episode.